Hey everybody, welcome to Goshen Prepping. Going through articles this morning, I came across 10 hacks that the military uses to obviously do what they need to do. I remember a lot of these too, by the way. They work very well. One of them, I didn't think it was a good hack for you, so I actually added on to a hack that works very, very well. It's a really great one, so make sure you stay to the end to hear the best one out of all of them. All right, so here we go. Things that work very well that'll help you as a prepper we learned from the military. Number one, put sugar on your wounds. Yeah, so if you get a cut, a big gash in your arm, obviously having some antibiotic ointment, some betadine, some iodine may work really well in cleaning it out. However, you may not have that, and if you're in a situation where you're camping, hiking out in the woods, etc., you may want to put sugar on there. I mean, salt will work too, but salts could be very painful. And if you have a high enough proof liquor, same thing, but who wants to waste your liquor on a wound? Put sugar on there. And the sugar sets up what's called a hypertonic solution. In other words, you have bacteria, which will be in there, by the way, because everything's contaminated with bacteria, and you get some bacteria in that cut. Instead of leaving it for your white blood cells to take care of, pour some sugar on there. That sugar sets up a hypertonic solution where it sucks the water out of the bacteria and will kill them. So sugar works very well for that. Again, you can do salt too, but salt would be a lot more painful. Ouch. Number two, soften your boots in water. Now, it doesn't really work well with like my Columbia here, but if you have like a leather boot or an army grade boot, etc., military grade, soaking it in water for an hour will actually make it so it contours to your feet better and is actually more like a better custom fit. On that same note, let's say you have a new boot and you just soaked it, you still may have like those rough edges, where the two pieces of material come together. If you simply take a piece of duct tape and put it over those edges, it makes it so it doesn't rub on your foot near as much. And therefore, there's nothing worse than having new shoes or boots that continuously rub on your foot in a specific area. So put some duct tape over that. However, if you already have a cut, you may want to consider getting some moleskin. I'll put a link for this, by the way, on Amazon if you want to pick some up. But this is gold. Moleskin is the most amazing thing, military or just hiking, backpacking, bugging out. And if you do get a cut or a blister or a scrape, etc., putting this on there, nice and soft, will prevent it from rubbing even more. And it's like night and day. Hiking with a blister or a cut or a sore, you feel like you're limping or can't go on. Put this on there, and you'll feel as good as new. If your boots are too tight, let me bring my boot out one more time. If your boots are too tight, you might want to consider actually not tying the very top parts of it. Keeping this loose will make the boot more loose on your ankle. I know a lot of guys who used to do that. For me personally, I always liked it really tight along my ankle for ankle support. But that's something you can do also is number 4, don't tighten up those tight top eye holes. Number 5, I think a lot of preppers know this, but use Vaseline to start fires. Dip a cotton ball in there into your Vaseline, and then of course light it. And it's a great fire starter. It'll burn for a little while, getting your kindling going. Number 6, using maxi pads to stop bleeding. So you have a big gash in your chest, put a maxi pad on there, will soak up the blood and stop the bleeding. Hopefully, if the bleeding's not deep enough. But one of the things you should not do, by the way, and people talk about this all the time, is don't use tampons for puncture wounds. They say, oh, you got a stab wound or you got shot, stick a tampon in there. Granted, it will soak up the blood, just like a maxi pad will, but it will also stop the coagulation, and therefore it'll make sure it never heals. So don't use tampons. That's complete wives' tale. Number 7, some loose threads on your garment or on your backpack. So let's say you have a thread hanging down. I know your instinct is to pull it, which is probably going to make your shirt fray even more. Simply just light it, let that burn, and as it burns, it will actually coagulate. That's the best term I can use right now to make it so it won't fray anymore. Next, use socks to cool off your water. So, it works really well with wool socks, by the way. But if you take a wool sock, soak it in water real quick, then put a water bottle in it and hang it. This worked really well for the desert, by the way. In humid areas, this may not work as well. But what happens is as that water evaporates off the sock, it will take heat with it. That's the same principle how your air conditioner works too, by the way. It's called evaporative cooling. So as the water evaporates off, it'll cool down that water bottle that's inside the sock. It's not going to make it cold, but it'll make it a little bit more cool. And I like cool water. Number 9, you've probably heard this one before. You have athlete's feet. Just every time you pee, don't pee in the toilet, but jump in the shower and pee on your feet every single time. And it will work because the urea that's in the urine is actually an antifungal agent. Okay, and finally, number 10, again, they listed that making your own bed, which is a good thing, obviously. You'll actually feel better about your day having your bed made every single day. Hopefully you do that. But that's not something I think that will help you as far as prepper goes. Instead, Out in maneuvers, especially in the desert, one of the things that we did that makes life much better is we simply take baby wipes. Let's say you have no access to a shower, which would happen a lot. Take baby wipes, wipe down your whole body. Sure, people know about that. But then secondly, get some Gold Bond medicated powder. I'll put a link for that as well. And you take that Gold Bond, it's not simply just like baby powder, but when you put it on, it has like a mint, invigorating feeling to it. And I am not kidding you. You will feel like you just took a shower. You were feeling scuzzy because you hadn't showered in a day or two. Baby wipe all the dirt off and then use the Gold Bond and you'll feel like $1 million. It works really well. But I'm going to ask you though, what kind of hacks do you have? How many of you military people out there have some really good hacks that you remember? Put it in the comments below. We'd love to actually see those too. But here's 10 hacks for you that we used and it works amazingly well. Things we can learn from the military so we can prep better. And that's what it's all about. Thanks for watching.